My boyfriend is unemployed and depends on me financially, and he recently asked me to get a personal loan for $1,500 so he could buy a Halloween costume, and I'm so upset because he's not listening to me when I tell him I can't do that, and he doesn't need this. Posted by you/Alexis Drake 1354. Me, 22F, and my boyfriend, 26M, have been together for around 4 years. I was recently asked by him if he could get a personal loan under my name so that he could buy a Halloween costume. I am feeling a bit unsure of how upset I should be, or if I even should be upset about it. To explain his current situation, he currently has around $5,000 worth of debt, does not have a job, and lives off payments from the government currently. When he originally asked, I got quite upset since, for the last year, his financial situation has continued to get worse. I currently pay for his groceries and essentials, and without aid, he doesn't have basic essentials like toilet paper or soap, let alone food, and can only meet the payments of his rent at the moment. When he asked me for the loan, it was about $1,500, and he wanted to have me open a personal loan since no financial lenders would give him any more money than he currently has on loan. I don't know why I felt like it was my breaking point, but I just cried and told him he was childish for asking me for money to buy something so stupid. I haven't spoken to him for the last couple of days. He asked me for money when he already relies on me to buy his groceries and is in so much debt from buying video games and action figures. I'm struggling to figure out what to even do or say to him. The reason he wants to loan so much from me is for more of the same non-essential things that got him into debt in the first place. A custom-made Halloween costume seems like an outrageous thing to want to purchase in his current situation, but he doesn't see it as a big deal since, in his words, it's not a lot of money for you, and I think I just need advice on what approach might work to help him understand. No matter how much I have tried to explain the strain his dependence on me to support him with his basic needs has been when we don't live together, and despite me trying to suggest loan consolidation or a selected person to manage his funds on his behalf could benefit him, I feel like my approach isn't working. I would appreciate advice on what steps I can take or what approach I might be able to use instead in regards to talking to him and trying to resolve this issue in our relationship currently. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. Tell him it's not a lot of money for you because you would never in a million years even contemplate something as foolhardy as taking out a 4-figure loan for a holiday that's A, months away, and B, can be celebrated just as, if not more effectively, with an old bedsheet and a pair of scissors. Or no. Just no works. Or simply laugh as you walk away. Hopefully for good, because I don't know why you're trying to convince yourself this is reasonable, unless you want to spend the rest of your life in debt catering to an overgrown 5-year-old's every whim. Ops downvoted response. I think I'm struggling and rationalizing it because my boyfriend has already spent about $700 on the costume and has been stressing and nonstop talking to me and showing me pictures of what costume he wants, and cried to me over the phone about how he has always wanted to dress up in this costume since he was a child. He has never mentioned this character or costume to me since we have been together. He stressed how life-changing this costume was, and he told me, I would happily starve for weeks if it means I have this costume, which I really don't want to have him do. Commenter 2. He hasn't invested $700. He has spent $700 he does not have. This is hugely disturbing behavior. If he starves for weeks because of this costume, he wins a Darwin Award. Why are you still dating this idiot? Commenter 3. I have to know, what is this costume? It doesn't matter, just curious. It's obviously a ridiculous request, and you should find a better partner. Ops downvoted response. I saw a couple of people suspecting he might be wanting a fursuit and might secretly be a furry, but to answer your questions, he wants to buy a screen-accurate Amazing Spider-Man costume with all the trimmings, like raised webbing and a removable mask and hand slits to take on and off his gloves. He has to have it custom-made since he's 6 feet 6 inches, so I guess the cost adds up bit by bit. Commenter 4. Lamau girl, come on. Have some respect for yourself. This man is already a clown, he doesn't need any costume. Update same day. I'm sure most of you thought this was a dumb question to begin with and really tore through me, but for those who were kinder with their advice, I really appreciated it, along with the private messages that offered kinder words. I know I seem like an absolute idiot, but I think being with my boyfriend for so long, as well as since high school, made me feel extremely attached and like I wouldn't know what to do if he wasn't around. So in that way, I was definitely dependent on him. To clarify things, it was for a Spider-Man costume, and no, I did not give him the money. I spoke to him, and he tried explaining that it was his cousin who forced him to ask me for the money, which I didn't believe. I ended the relationship, since a lot of your comments made me realize I have a seriously low standard for my dating pool and will have to reconsider my standards moving forward. I guess the reason I indulged this man for so long was because I felt pity for him and his situation. He lives off government disability payments due to having autism, ADHD, and severe clinical depression, and I think as we progressed in our relationship, I slowly became his carer after his family moved away and he had no one to take him to his appointments. Especially after COVID, his carer quit, so he didn't have someone to help him in his day-to-day tasks. I understand now that should have never been my job to pick up, and blurring those lines made me become financially and emotionally used, as he had no one else to depend on. Anyways, I have broken up with my boyfriend. I will try to listen to you guys and find someone who is more on my level of stability and self-reliance. Thank you everyone for listening and giving me the wake-up call I needed to get out before I committed to marrying or having children with him. /relevant comments. Commenter. I'm glad you broke up with him. The guy was using you for sure. His financial situation wasn't getting worse from his perception, those costs were simply being shifted to his second income, aka you, as he got more comfortable relying on it. He likely had the money to pay for those things, but spent it instead because he knew you'd cover those costs for him. As far as the loan goes, if $1,500 wasn't a lot of money for you, you wouldn't need to take out a personal loan to get that much together. The idea of the loan wasn't a big deal to him because he'd be getting the money, not the debt. So, yeah. I think you made the right decision ending things. He'd likely have leeched off you until you were financially destroyed, before moving on to someone with a fresh bank account. Second update 1 year later. Hey everyone who may care for an update, I received some PMs asking for an update on this ridiculous post. I have good and bad news. Trigger warning for abuse. I ended up getting back together with my ex after breaking up after this post, super dumb, yes, I know. It was a really tumultuous and abusive relationship that had become a kind of dependence on that person to escape a lot of my home life troubles. Despite my ex being the worst scum ever, it was better than what I knew in my home life and what I thought I deserved. I struggled a lot but was able to thrive in my personal life and career, but despite that, I clung to my ex as it was all I thought I deserved. It only got worse, as he grew to hate me and still depended on me. He monopolized all of my time, but when I was at work he was talking to another woman and worked toward cheating on me with her. He was unsuccessful in that endeavor, as she only wanted the attention but didn't want to have sex with such a loser. He made a choice when I asked to pick me or her and chose her, hoping he would finally be able to make it with this other woman who thankfully would not give him the time of day once the chase was over and he was no longer in a relationship. He thankfully broke up with me when he picked her, but didn't want to relinquish control over me and demanded to keep me as a friend. I was ordered to keep him in the loop about dates, who I was seeing, where I was going, and for how long. If I didn't tell him, he beat me. It got bad enough, he punched me in the stomach on the side of a busy highway while I was in my work uniform. I decided finally to stop pitying this horrible scum and leave. I regret all the years I wasted with this scumbag, trapped in his abuse and lies. I thankfully kept him at bay and would only answer his phone calls. He had panic attacks and would call me every couple of days crying and screaming, but after he threatened to kill my family and make me watch, and then kill himself so he wouldn't go to jail for it and would leave me all alone, I felt unable to escape. Thankfully, he eventually lost interest and got upset I wasn't being a good friend and blocked me after threatening to kill me if he ever saw me in the street. It was an insane relationship, not really encapsulated in my Reddit post, because I was already being screamed at by hundreds of people for being absolutely stupid about it. So after being dragged, I figured it was best I didn't actually speak about all the depth of it. The whole relationship felt like an unreal experience between two people with severe mental health and self-worth issues. I became someone unrecognizable when driven into a corner like I was. At least I have a whole lot of crazy ex-stories to tell, which my friends lovingly dub lore dropping. I have had a hard start to my life from childhood till about a year ago, but please know I am happy, safe, and doing well now. I have regular therapy sessions and live away from my abusive family and with friends who love and care for me, who have become like an adoptive family to me. Things are really well, and thank you for checking in. /relevant comments. Commenter. What the F? Commenter 2. That's not enough. What the double F? Commenter 3. Of course, the deadbeat loser who wanted his girlfriend to buy him a $1,500 Spider-Man costume also found time to cheat on her. It's so painful to hear that Op not only went back to him, but he dumped her and eventually lost interest. That she didn't even have the mettle in her to cut him off completely when he threatened to kill her family. I'm glad Op is in therapy, because there is so much she needs to unpack. She's not ready to be in a healthy relationship until she processes and starts healing from everything she's gone through since childhood.